Hello children, a very good afternoon and welcome to my lecture. I am going to teach you English subject children. Already I explained in last lecture our English subject is divided into 4 parts, that is prose, poetry, writing skill and drama. So from today we are going to start our chapters. So I am going to teach you today the prose section. Already I explained in introduction lecture 1.1. Due to the COVID-19, that is 1.1 being neighborly, it is reduced from our syllabus. And today we are going to start 1.2 on to the summit, we reach the top. So children, this chapter is based on Tenzing Norgay, who is a great mountaineer. So here children, some ice breaking activities are given. So first of all we have to take information regarding writer, and afterwards we will complete our chapter explanation line by line. Then we start doing the icebreaker and brainstorming activity and question answers. So we can take the information regarding Tenzing Norgay. So children, this chapter is totally this chapter is totally the history of Tenzing Norgay, how he completed, how he reached the summit of Mount Everest. So this chapter is actually not written by anyone. Actually this chapter is what? It is article taken from Times of India. So children, first of all we have to take information regarding the Tenzing Norgay. We already know children, Tenzing Norgay was a mountaineer, and we can say he was a Nepali or Indian Nepali Sherpa. Sherpa means helper children. So Tenzing Norgay was born in the village of Thambi on 29th May in 1914, and he was died on 9th May 1996. Children, Tenzing went to Nepal as a child to work for a Sherpa family in Khumbu. His childhood name was Nangyal Wangdi. His father, whose father? Tenzing's father, a yak herder, was Gangla Mingma, and his mother was Dokma Kinjo, who lived to see him climb Everest. Children, when Tenzing is on 29th May 1953, when he reached the Mount Everest, at that time his father is passed away, but his mother is still over there to see how his child completed or achieved his challenge. Tenzing was the 11th of 13 children. Means Tenzing parents having how many children? 13 children. And Tenzing was 11th child. Tenzing what? He ran away in his life from home twice a time when he was a teenage. First time he ran away to Kathmandu, and second time he ran away Darjeeling. When Tenzing was 19 years, children, he eventually settled in the Sherpa community in Tunsong Bosti in Darjeeling. Like other number of other Sherpas at that time, Tenzing moved to Darjeeling in India as a young man, and it was there that he was chosen as a member of the team of Sherpa porters for 1933, where in British expedition to Everest. Right children, he was chosen by British expedition to Everest when in 1933. Pay attention now. He took part in the further attempts on the mountain from Tibet in the pre-war years. when the pre-war years means when India and China war is going on at that time. So he took part where? He took part in further attempt on the mountain from Tibet in the pre-war years. In 1949, when the Nepalese government opened his border or frontier border for the foreigners means foreign country peoples, foreign mountaineer, when the Nepal opened his border, Nepal government, then Tenzing was what? Then Tenzing was engaged by several other expeditions in the Himalayas, including reconnaissance of Everest by its southern approaches. He was what? At that time he was Sardar, means he was leader to the Eric Septon team. Eric Septon team, the mountaineer Eric Septon का जो team था उसमें Tenzing क्या था? He was a leader in 1951, right? And on Oyu in 1953, that team also which team is going to reach the Mount Everest, that team also Tenzing was a leader. Now children, for Mount Everest in 1952 he took part in the 2 Swiss expeditions. The first one is what? That is serious attempt to climb Everest from the southern side means Nepal sides. Okay, after two previous expedition means after two previous means United States and Great Britain, that he recognizes expeditions in 1950 and in 1951. So here what meaning of recognizes means what? Military training. So Norgay, Tenzing Norgay reached on 28th May. Then recorded height is what? That time recorded height is 8600 meter. That in general language we can say that is 28,215 feet. And this expedition, during which Norgay was for the first time considered as in this expedition, Norgay was first time considered as a full expedition member. Now in the Ottoman expedition, the team was stopped. In Ottoman season, when expedition is going on, the team was, which team? Norgay's team was stopped by bad weather after reaching on altitude of 8100 meter. That is in general language we can say 26,575 feet. In 1953, Tenzing Norgay took part in what? John Hunt's expedition. The latest 7th expedition to Everest, a member of the team was Edmund Hillary. What? Already 7 attempt इनका हो चुका था. Then afterwards what? Who selected him? The Tenzing Norgay selected by John Hunt. With whom? With the Edmund Hillary he selected to reach the Mount Everest. The expedition set up base camp in the what? Based camp in March 1953. जो expedition camp था उसका base March 1953 में रखा गया था. Working slowly, then set up their set up their before camp at the Southern Col. Southern Col is one mountain. So I am going to show you which type of that mountain. See, this is the Southern Col mountain, right? So see, the expedition set up base camp in March 1953, working slowly, then set up their penultimate camp at what? Penultimate camp at the South Col at 25,900 feet, that is we can say 7,900 meter. On 26th May, Tom Burdillon and Charles Ewen attempted the climb, but they turned back when the Ewen oxygen system failed. Hunt then directed, then what? Hunt is directed whom? Hunt is directed Norgay Hillary to go for the summit. And in this way, Hillary and Norgay gone for the expedition of Mount Everest, and they reached the Mount Everest on 29th May 1953 sharp 11 o'clock. So for this great work, both got the many more awards, and this chapter is based on Tenzin Norgay. So Tenzin Norgay also got many more awards. Among of that, 3 are given in our textbook. They are, first one is Tiger Medal. Tenzin Norgay got a Tiger Medal in 1938. By whom? By Himalaya Club for the achievement of 3rd Everest expedition. And again he got second award honor in 1953, that is Star of Nobel, given by King Tribhuvan. For what purpose? For all accomplishments. And third very precious award he got, that is Padma Bhushan award by Indian government in 1959 for all accomplishment. So in this way we can say Tenzin Norgay, he is a great achiever who individual means only 2 person individually they gone to Mount Everest and they reached the summit of Mount Everest. So in this chapter we are going to study about the Tenzin Norgay who reached top of the Mount Everest, and how he reached. That story is written in the article form in Times of India, and that is we are going to study in our textbook, right? In this chapter, English textbook, in this chapter. See, the chapter is what? On to the summit we reach the top. Summit means completed. See, when we left camp 9 on Friday morning, I was determined to get to the top on this day. That morning I remember thinking I was to get to the top even if I die. I was not afraid to die that day. We set out early and all the way from Camp 9 to the peak we alternated. Now, Tenzin say, when we left from Camp 9, see camp का number है 9 number camp से Friday morning when they left, then they what say? They determine mean they taken decision. What decision they taken? This attempt we must reach to the top. So he is thinking, who is thinking? Norgay is thinking, Tenzin is thinking, this time I was to get to the top even if I die. Means मैं मर जाऊंगा चलेगा, but this time I have to reach to the top. And he say he was not afraid to die that day. Now they all set up early in the morning and they left from Camp 9 to climb the peak alternate, means by changing the place. एक टाइम वन टाइम टेंजिंग आगे रहता था तो वन टाइम जो है एडमंड हिलरी आगे रहते थे. तो इन दिस वे मीन्स अल्टरनेट, कभी वो आगे चलते थे तो कभी वो आगे चलते थे. इन दिस वे दे रीच द व्हाट माउंट एवरेस्ट. आई वुड टेक द लीड and then Hillary. The man who follows when climbing has a difficult job, both in climbing up and climbing down. He is the anchor. The man going in the lead cuts the step and breaks the way. Now what the Tenzin say? Tenzin say climbing the mountain up and climbing the down. Both activity is what? Very difficult job. And this job what they are doing? They are means here Hillary and Tenzin both are doing. Sometime Hillary is sometime Hillary is giving direction and sometime Tenzin in giving direction. Means he is leading, sometime Norgay is leading and sometime Hillary is leading. And he is the anchor. Who is the anchor? Tenzin is the anchor, the man going in the lead cut the step and break the way. They are what? Step by step they are going, and that area we know that is very means वो एरिया क्या है, बहुत ठंडा है. देयर इज वॉट लॉट ऑफ आइस बैग्स. दे आर कटिंग स्टेप बाय स्टेप. दे कट एंड गो. In my pocket I had 4 flags. Now he say when he is started going, at that time he has in his pocket how many flags? 4 flags. When we were still at camp 4, Colonel Hunt gave me 3 flags, those of Britain, the United Nations and Nepal. He charged me with the duty of planting them on the top of the world. Here what? See, Colonel Hunt also have a what? Faith ki they both reach the top of the mountain. So here Tenzing says Colonel Hunt given him 3 flags. That flags, one flag belong to the Great Britain, another is from United Nations, and next one is what? Next one is from the Nepal country. And these all flags given to the Narge, and he got a duty when he reached top of the mountain, he have to plant over there these 3 flags. These 3 flags are in your care, he said. When you and Hillary reach the top, put them at the peak. I am sure that you and Hillary are going to do it. Here what? Colonel Hunt what? He had a faith, and he told, I have faith, you must be reach over there. And when you reach these 3 flags I am giving in your care, when you and Hillary both, you means Norgay and Hillary both reach top of the mountain, so what you have to do? You have to plant these 3 flags top of the mountain. Next para. I told Colonel Hunt that I was carrying the Indian flag with me and I would like to be on the top with the other flags. I had to ask Colonel Hunt's permission in his capacity as leader of the expedition. What? Colonel Hunt is what? He was a leader of the expedition. And what? Norgay had one more flag. He belongs to India. Each and everyone loves their country. Same way, Tenzing Norgay also loves his country, and that's why what? He had one flag in his pocket, and that flag what? Belongs to his lovely Indian country, our India country. But Colonel Hunt is a leader, so it is what? It is responsibility, it is duty of the Tenzing Norgay. He have to take the permission of Colonel Hunt, then he have to when he give the permission, then only he took that flag top of the mountain. That's why he asked the Colonel Hunt, I have one Indian flag, so he need a permission. He told, I had Indian flag, can I take this flag also? And he got the permission. Now Indian flag. Colonel Hunt said, by all means, I am glad to know that you brought an Indian flag. He said what? I am very happy, I am very glad you brought your country flag. After 1 hour of steady going, we cut across from the south face and started up the west side, where we had to pass up a steep line of rock. This was slow and difficult. Once we had cleared these, there was nothing barrier our way to top but a snow-covered incline, sloping less and less as it neared the top. After 1 hour, what? After 1 hour of steady going, means straight they are going, they are what? We cut across from the south face. They what? They changed the south face, they cut and started now what? Started from the west side, where what? They have to pass a steep line of rock. From that side they have to pass which line of rock? They have to pass a steep, means sharp, plain line of rock they have to pass. This was what? Where here they have to go very slow, and here climbing the mountain is what? Very difficult. Once we had clear, once what? They can clear this, then there is nothing barrier in their way. But what? Snow covering incline and sloping lace Snow is what? It is covering both sides and sloping less, and their slope is what? Very less, and less as it near to the top, and it is what? Near to the top also sloping is very less. Now these last 60 or 70 feet up the top were not very dangerous, but we kept up the same steady pace, and we reached the small flattened summit almost together. These last 60 or 70 feet, means these last 60 and 70 feet up the top were not very dangerous, क्योंकि जो लास्ट का जो टॉप का जो 60 and 70 feet था, that climbing is not too dangerous, but we kept up the same steady pace. Then also what? They are climbing in a same steady pace. And lastly what? They reached the small flattened summit. Lastly what? They reached the highest point of the mountain, and they both reached together. During the last 50 feet from the peak, Hillary and I were moving about 20 feet apart. We were tied together with a rope. Most of the time the rope was loose, but when we went over danger ground, we drew it tight. Now what he said, during the last 50 feet from the peak, when they are what? Away, 50 feet away from the top of the peak, they are what? They are aparted. वो दूर हो गए थे एक दूसरे से. How many feet? 25 feet. They are aparted. And this is what? They were tied together with a, they both are tied each other with a rope. And most of time what? The rope is loose. But when they are what? Far from each other. Means, but we went over dangerous ground, we drew. Means when the ground is dangerous, when the place is dangerous for climbing, that time what? That time they tied the rope और they drew that. जो रोप जो रस्सी वो टाइट बांध के रखते थे एक दूसरे से. This rope was a symbol. It tied us together. One could not move without the other. We were not two individual but a team. Here what they say, this what? टाइट बांधा हुआ, जो रोप टाइट बांधा हुआ है, that is what? That is the symbol. This rope was a symbol. What? It ties us together. Means what? They one could not move without other. Means they जो rope बंधा हुआ था, this rope which is tied, that is the symbol. Means they cannot move. They cannot move without others. And they say we are not two. They say we are not two. We are what? We are not two individual members who are climbing on the mountain. वो अकेले अकेले लोग नहीं थे जो mountain पे चढ़ रहे थे. But they are what? They two are what? One team. I have been asked many times who was first. When we were within reach the summit, I did not think of who was first to be first. He said what? Many more times the reporter and many more people asked the Hillary or asked the Tenzing Narge who first reached the summit of mountain. But he said what? I did not think of who was going to be first. He did not think. What he said, Narge is not thinking who was going first. I am sure that Hillary was not thinking that. He said what? He is not thinking who was first, and he have what? Full confidence. Hillary also thinking same. Climbing takes all your attention. You have many more important worries. What? Because they are climbing when you want to climb the mountain. So climbing to what? Your all attention should be over there. And what? That is what? Very dangerous place to climb the mountain. Having many more places dangerous. So what? It is important more. All worries is together. कि पूरा ध्यान दे के वहाँ पर चढ़ना. किसी को ये ध्यान नहीं है कि who will be first and who will be a second. What does it matter whether I reach the top first or Hillary? Our main thought was that both of us reached the top. We had to. One couldn't do it alone. He said what? No matter. Anyone reach the top. Norgay would say, no matter, maybe Norgay reached first or maybe Hillary reached first. His main thought is what? They have to reach the top, and one couldn't do it alone. Means no one could do alone. They both are what? They both are together going. They both are helping each other, and that's why they reach the top. If there had been a difference of 1000 feet between us, then one could make the claim that he was first, but even then, only the man behind him could confirm the distance between the two of them. What he say? When we are what? When both are climbing. Who is climbing? Norgay and Hillary is climbing. When the distance between both mountaineer, Norgay and Hillary, there is a 1000 feet distance is over there, then only anybody can claim ki who is the first and who is the second. And but who is climbing, that person cannot decide कि मैं फर्स्ट है या वो फर्स्ट है, बिकॉज वॉट? हु इज़ द बिहाइंड, जो उन क्लाइंबर के पीछे है वो डिसाइड कर सकता है कि कौन फर्स्ट हुआ कौन सेकेंड हुआ. When we reached Kathmandu, we discovered that a contrary had arises. We talked it over, Hillary, Colonel Hunt and I. We agreed that all the talk was childish. When we reached the Kathmandu, we discovered that a contrary had arises. When they reached the Kathmandu, so there is what? Some contrary had arises. Contrary means vivad, disagreement. But what happened here? We talk it over. Then what happened? They talk each other. Who talk? Colonel Hunt, Hillary and Norgay. They both are what? Talked each other, and we agreed that all talk is childish. कि जो कुछ बातें हो रही वो क्या है? बचपना है, childish है. So we made a pact, and each of us signed it in the office of Prime Minister of Nepal. Each one signed his own statement. I have a copy of Hillary's statement. I carry in my pocket. Now what happened? Now whatever the controversy, that is what? Very childish controversy. They talk each other and that all cleared. Now what? They reach in Nepal. There they have to go to the what? Prime Minister's office, and they have to sign their own statement. But what? Tenzing Sherpa is not too much educated, and that's why he is not able to write the statement, and he written statement. He taken what? He had a copy of whose statement? He had a Hillary's statement's copy, and that statement he kept in his pocket. It read Kathmandu, June 22, 1953. Right? On May 29th, Tenzing Sherpa and I left our hike camp on Mount Everest for our attempt on summit. On that, what is written in that statement is written on May 29. Who is written that? This statement is written by Edmund Hillary. So in this statement written on May 29, Tenzing Sherpa and I left our high camp on Mount Everest for our attempt on summit. As we climb upward to the south summit, first one and then the other would take turn at lead. He written कि we what left 29th May to climb the summit of Mount Everest. So in this mission, sometime Norgay is leading, and sometime Tenzing, and sometime Norgay is leading, sometime Hillary is leading. So we crossed over the southern summit and moved along the summit ridge. We reached the summit almost together. In that what written? One southern side, we all are climbing, and we both reached the summit what? Almost together. लगभग हम एक साथ माउंट एवरेस्ट के टॉप पे पहुंचे थे. We embraced each other overjoyed at our success. What? We embraced each other. मीन्स गले मिल गए हम लोग एक दूसरे से ओवरजॉय से, बिकॉज व्हेन वी कंप्लीट अवर मिशन वी बिकम वेरी हैप्पी. सो बिकॉज ऑफ हैप्पीनेस दे आल्सो व्हाट? दे एम्ब्रेस्ड ईच अदर. Then I took photograph of Tenzing holding aloft the flags of Great Britain, Nepal, United Nations and India. Now he written what? Then he took what? Tenzing having what flag? How many flag he had? Tenzing in his hand? 4 flag he has. One flag belongs to the Great Britain, another is United Nation, next is Nepal, and last one is what? Indian nation. And that flag Tenzing have, and Hillary is taken what? He is taken photograph. There is another paper like this in English signed by me. Thus, we will not take part in any controversy, as the statement says Hillary, and I embraced. When we reached the top, we did as well as our bulky equipment would let us. I remember saying to him, we have done it, but we couldn't hear. We had our oxygen mask on. Now what he say? They both are reach over there and signed EP Hillary, and then what they that have that is a statement they have. On that statement they signed. There is another paper like this in English, and he signed by the Norgay. Hillary signed and then Norgay also signed. Thus we will. They are not taking any part in any controversy. एज द स्टेटमेंट से, जो कि स्टेटमेंट बोल रहा था उसमें हिलरी ने और नॉर्गे ने कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं, कोई कंट्रोवर्सी उन लोगों का नहीं हुआ. हिलरी आई एम्ब्रेस्ड व्हेन वी रीच टू द टॉप. वी डिड एज वेल एज आवर बल्कि इक्विपमेंट वी गेट. हाँ, जो हमारा काम था दैट वी डन, एंड वॉट एवर बल्कि इक्विपमेंट वी हैड दैट वी हैड. आई रिमेंबर सेइंग टू हिम मीन्स what? Norgay remember saying what we have done. Who says? Hillary says we have done, but we couldn't hear. We had our oxygen mask. Because what? We couldn't hear because we have all oxygen masks and all thing, and that's why we are not able to hear what the we says each other. Okay, let's stop here our lecture. In next lecture we continue our chapter. Thank you, children.